Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin, and most of you are pretty familiar with coins. Some of you with currency, a lot of you maybe not as much with currency. But for those of you who are coin collectors, not currency, you've probably seen this note still, right? 1923 silver certificate from the U.S., real popular large size banknote, and really well known. We see them all the time, usually not in MS-66, but still we see quite a few of them. But did you know that at the same time, if we're playing poker, look at that beauty, huh? I got the red back and I got the blue backed cards. So at the same time, there was actually a legal tender note with the exact same design as the silver certificate. No difference whatsoever. And I always thought this was kind of fun because that's not true with all the other issues that you saw out there where you had both the legal tender and the silver certificate. Not on large size notes. That became real common right after this when you got into the small size banknotes. So series of 1923 and United States note instead of saying silver certificate. And of course, it says that there's a certifies that there's on deposit $1 silver. Of course, this has none of those words on it right there. That top line, you see the difference? And then on the back, on the bottom, of course, the silver certificate says $1 silver payable to the bearer on demand. And this is will pay to the bearer on demand $1. Dollar for dollar, right? Legal tender note. And it's really kind of cool to me to think about this entire time period for history, for numismatics, for coins and for currency, because at that time, you were just coming out with your Mercury dimes, and Walking Liberty half dollars and Standing Liberty quarters. This is the 1917 version. This came out just before this one, right? So 1917, I'm taking a step back in time. But that's the 1-to-1, 1 year previous to that, right? But what I want to show you next is actually the 23. At the same time that this was circulating, there was a $10 bill circulating that was also a legal tender note with Andrew Jackson on it. Really a handsome looking note all around with the overall style and design. And this whole area here is very, very similar. The way that they designed the note with the seal and everything, everything is just slightly modified from the 1 to the 10. But the portrait area is actually somewhat similar in the way it's built up off the center. With the it's slightly different, but the concept's the same. And of course, instead of a big 1, they used an X for 10, and it says 1010 on there. And on the back of this note, there is a design here with the 10, which is really popular, that actually they call this note the poker chip. And so these notes, they'll get that nickname from their designs. Lots of banknotes have nicknames based on the overall design. And these notes were really, really well done with a lot of detail to them. And this is something that is really cool. Also, that design I was talking about before, during the Roaring 20s, right before the Great Depression, you got into those notes. Here's your legal tender notes before then, your 1907. But these notes were all circulating into the 20s. So, you're looking at banknotes that were, where we go. There we go. Let me not jump past the 5 first. That 10 caught my attention right away, though, as it probably did yours. This $5 bill is known as the woodchopper, in very creative terms, right? And you'll see that this is the same Andrew Jackson portrait that was on the 10 in the future, because I just went back in time now. This was the 23 series, and this is the 07. He got an upgrade here, or if you count inflation, a downgrade, however you want to look at it, right? So, but that 5 is real popular series with the Woods family out there, and he's chopping wood. On the back of that note also has a lot of the really fancy intaglio press designs that you'll see on the banknotes. Bureau of Engraving and Printing printed right on there. Nice little handsome $5 at the end. And the details on these is really what tends to get you. Now, back in time, one more step here. We got this 1901 series, right? So the 1901 series is, I think, exceptionally fun because, first of all, it's super popular in the fact that it is has the bison on it, and understandably so. It's just the type of thing that's held up over time. and it's been on lots of other things. The other thing that's really interesting on this is, this banknote has Lewis and Clark on it, and it's interesting that basically you had a banknote that was issued really in lockstep with an exposition, right? Like that's kind of a weird thing, isn't it? And I don't know that you'd really see something like that nowadays necessarily. I mean, what would the equivalent be if you had some national exposition and we put out circulating currency? Now, I've never heard anyone argue that this is a circulating commemorative banknote. Because for the US, we don't really make commemorative banknotes, circulating ones or otherwise. And so it's really intriguing to me, this banknote, because in a way I think that it qualifies for just that. But all these notes, you saw these notes, a lot of them went through World War I and then in the Roaring '20s. And then these notes into the 23 issues especially, these guys were all getting into the Great Depression. And so to see these notes in such excellent condition is really unusual, because lots of them, they were spent. They were definitely spent. And so I'm spent, and so we're going to end. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.